I wasn't supposed to be at the marina that morning. I wasn't supposed to see any of it. But fate really has a way of throwing you straight into chaos when you least expect it. Because the moment I turned that corner and saw a crowd huddled along the dock phones, out pointing, laughing, I felt a cold, heavy punch hit my chest. And when I followed their eyes, I froze. My boat, my sea breeze. The boat I spent years restoring was being driven straight toward a federal navigation buoy by the HOA president, while she screamed Girls' Day out like she was auditioning for a reality show no one asked for. And all I could think was, she has no idea I work with the Coast Guard, but she's about to find out. My name's Michael Carter. I live in a waterfront neighborhood called Harbor Point, the kind of place that's supposed to feel peaceful, quiet, picture perfect. You know, sunrise joggers, elderly couples walking golden retrievers, neighbors waving from their porches. And honestly, it was like that, until Linda Prescott moved in. Linda, in case you've never met a real-life hurricane wearing a pink blazer, was our brand-new HOA president. She looked like she ironed rules into her clothes every morning, and she carried herself like God had personally appointed her to manage everyone else's property. The first time she approached me, she marched right down the walkway in her neon blazer like a human highlighter, squinted at my boat and said, "You know, it's actually unfair that some residents have boats and some don't." I laughed. I shouldn't have. She wasn't joking. She continued, hands on hips, like she was ready to write a ticket. Seabreeze should be considered a community amenity. It's selfish to keep her tied up all the time. Just to be clear, I paid for everything. The slip, the insurance, the upgrades, the maintenance, the gas. She didn't contribute a penny. But fairness in her mind didn't mean equal effort. It meant equal access to other people's stuff. That was only the beginning. Over the next few weeks, she left notes on my door reminding me to schedule community boating days. She cornered me outside my garage, telling me her nephew deserved to experience a luxury boat ride at least once. She even filed a complaint to the HOA board claiming I was causing division by refusing to share my property. Luckily, the board told her that's not how boats or property law work, but Linda didn't operate on logic. Linda operated on entitlement. If she heard the word no, she translated it into try again louder. Thank God for Jake, my next-door neighbor. Jake was the kind of guy who treated HOA drama like wildlife photography. He always had an iced coffee in one hand and his phone in the other, ready to film whatever ridiculous thing happened next. "She's gonna blow," one day he'd whisper behind a hedge recording. "I just hope I'm here for the explosion." I didn't know he'd be filming the biggest explosion of all. Seabreeze wasn't just a boat. She was my pride, my weekends, my sweat. I replaced the teak decking myself, polished the chrome, rewired the navigation, upgraded the engine. She was the closest thing to art I'd ever built. And Linda, well, she always eyed the boat with that mix of jealousy and delusion only HOA presidents seem capable of. Still, even with all her comments, with all her pushing, with all her hints that she deserved access, I never imagined she'd be bold or stupid enough to steal it. But that morning, there she was, standing at the helm of my boat in a giant pink sun hat, blasting pop music across the marina, dancing with 3 of her HOA friends like they were filming a low-budget summer music video. And those women were sloshed. Drinks spilling everywhere, heels wobbling, squealing on the deck. I spent hundreds of hours sanding by hand. For a second, I genuinely thought I was dreaming, or hallucinating, or dying. Then Jake appeared beside me like he teleported there. "Bro," he choked on his iced coffee. "Tell me this is a prank." It was not a prank. Linda spotted me, waved like a queen greeting peasants, and yelled, "Don't worry, Michael, I'm just taking her out for a quick spin." A quick spin with 4 untrained passengers, alcohol, and a woman who didn't know port from starboard. I should have screamed. I should have fainted. But instead, something in my brain just snapped into clarity. She was driving my boat like it was a bumper car. She was drifting too close to another boat's wake. She was going to hurt someone. Jake leaned in. "You calling the HOA?" I shook my head. "No, I'm calling the Coast Guard." He blinked. Oh, this just got good. Now I don't pull rank. I don't brag. I don't throw my job around to intimidate people. But this wasn't about ego. This was about safety, life, liability, my boat, other people's boats, and the fisherman she nearly ran over. As soon as the dispatcher picked up my voice, somehow stayed calm, even though my heart was in my throat. My vessel has been stolen. Typing. Fast typing. Do you have visual on the vessel? Oh, I have visual, I said, staring at Linda posing on the bow, like Titanic's worst remake. It's a white 24-foot cruiser named Seabreeze, currently being operated by a blonde woman in a pink sun hat who believes she's the queen of spring break. Jake wheezed. Dude, the dispatcher's gonna think you're joking. The dispatcher didn't think it was funny. Units incoming ETA 5 minutes. Do not approach the vessel. 5 minutes. That was all the time Linda had left before federal law replaced HOA logic. When the patrol boat arrived, sleek and controlled, the officer grabbed the bullhorn and yelled, "Vessel Seabreeze, reduce speed and prepare to be boarded." Linda froze like someone unplugged her brain. Then she yelled back, "Excuse me, we're on a private cruise." She didn't slow down. She didn't turn. She didn't even pretend to comply. The officer repeated stricter, "Ma'am, reduce speed immediately." Jake grabbed my shoulder. "She's actually arguing with the Coast Guard." "Oh my God, oh my God." Linda's friends started screaming real fear this time. "Karen, slow down. Turn the boat." "Oh my God, they're serious." But Linda, being Linda, panicked, yanked the wheel, slammed the throttle. Seabreeze lurched. The coast erupted in whitewater as she blasted through the no-wake zone, throwing a kayaker sideways. And then, she looked back for 1 second, just one, and drove my boat straight into a buoy. The metallic crunch echoed across the marina like a gunshot. She flew forward screaming. Her friends toppled. The boat rocked violently. That was it. Game over. The Coast Guard boarded, immediately cut the engine, and pulled Linda away from the controls. She thrashed like a toddler having a meltdown. "I have rights. I borrowed it." "No, ma'am," the officer said calmly. "You are under arrest." Jake whispered, "I got that whole thing on camera. Merry Christmas to me." As Linda's friends were escorted off, one of them muttered, "We thought she had permission." She said he agreed, with his eyes. Jake almost died laughing. Permission, with his eyes. I can't breathe. The officer asked me if I wanted to press charges. I looked at my boat. My beautiful boat, scraped, dented, humiliated. And for one bitter moment I actually wondered, should I let it go? Should I avoid the legal mess? Should I try to keep the peace? And then I looked at Linda, furious, entitled, already rewriting the story in her head, and I realized something. If I didn't stop her, she'd do it again. To me, to someone else, maybe worse. "Yes," I said, "I want to press charges." Linda screamed so loud a flock of seagulls took off like an explosion. "You can't do that, I'm the HOA president." Jake leaned in. "Not anymore after that video goes viral." And oh boy, it did. We didn't even make it home before the first 1,000,000 views hit. Within hours, TikTok remixed her screaming, "It's a borrow," into a dance track. And while part of me found it darkly hilarious, another part of me just felt exhausted, drained. I didn't want to be famous for being the guy whose HOA president stole his boat. I just wanted my life back. A few days later, the Coast Guard called me in. Officer Riley, who had handcuffed Linda, flipped through a folder and said, "Sir, we need to clarify a few of the suspect's statements." I braced myself. "First, she said she claims you gave her permission." "With my eyes," Jake added helpfully. Riley nodded, not amused. "Second, she claims she was running an HOA-sanctioned community event called Coastal Enrichment." I stared. She made that up on the spot. She also insisted HOA presidents do not commit crimes. "She's very wrong," Jake said. Riley closed the file. "She's facing several charges, possibly more. And she wants to speak with you." "Absolutely not." But Linda didn't need permission. Later that day, she marched to my front door, still wearing her community service vest, mascara streaked from sweat and humiliation. "You ruined my life!" she screamed the moment I opened the door. "No, Linda," I said, tired. "You did that. You called the Coast Guard. You let people film. You let the internet humiliate me. You stole my boat," I repeated. "Borrowed. You crashed it. A little. You endangered people. They were fine. You damaged federal property." She froze. That buoy shouldn't have been there. Oh my God. Then came the begging. Then threats. Then bargaining. Then more screaming. And then, "Tell the Coast Guard to drop the charges." No. "Tell people the video is fake." No. "Make the internet delete me." Linda, that's not how the internet works. For the first time since I'd known her, she looked small, like someone terrified the world wasn't bending for her anymore. You don't understand," she whispered. "People are recognizing me. They're laughing. I can't walk through the marina without someone filming me." I didn't say anything. "And you don't get it," she snapped. "I'm used to being in charge. People listen to me. They respect me." I shook my head. "Respect isn't taken, Linda. It's earned." She stared at me like she'd never heard that sentence in her life. "This isn't over," she hissed finally. "You're going to regret this." But I didn't, and she knew it. A week later, I walked by the marina during her community service shift. She was sweeping the dock shoulders, slumped sunglasses hiding her face. She wasn't yelling. She wasn't threatening anyone. She wasn't even talking. Just sweeping. When she noticed me, she hesitated, anger flickering, then fading. "Do you think they'll ever forgive me?" she asked softly. "Maybe," I said, "but only if you stop blaming everyone else." She swallowed hard. "I don't want to be a meme anymore," she whispered. Jake, of course, popped out from behind a piling. "Then stop acting like one." Linda glared, but even her glare had lost its bite. As I walked away, I realized something: entitlement isn't just annoying, it's dangerous. And sometimes the only thing that finally stops it is consequences. And that's the lesson: if you never hold someone accountable, they never stop taking more.